10 years later, and fans are still talking about Aaron and Aphmau. Not just in Mermaid Tales, or My Street, or Minecraft Diaries, but across every universe these characters have appeared in. And honestly, that made me wonder something. Why do fans still care so much about Aaron and Aphmau when so many fictional couples are forgotten? Because I don't think it's just the romance. I think there's something much deeper happening here. And today, I want to talk about why Aaron and Aphmau's relationship still works after all these years, why Mermaid Tales teaches us about great romance writing, and why these characters continue connecting with fans even 10 years later. Bonjour everyone, it is Anna Wolf Hero. Recently I reviewed Mermaid Tales Season 1 and 2, which you can go ahead and check on my channel if you haven't seen it yet. And while working on that video, I honestly started noticing something. The reason Mermaid Tale works isn't just because of the pirates or the mermaids or because of the fantasy. It's because people care about these characters, especially Aaron and Aphmau. As someone who wants to become a storyteller herself, I've spent a lot of time thinking about why certain fictional relationships stay with us long after a story ends. And Aaron and Aphmau are one of the best and unique examples I have seen in indie story writing. I think one of the biggest reasons Aaron and Aphmau work is because of trust. When Aaron first discovers Aphmau is a mermaid, he has every reason not to trust her. He is shocked, confused, and honestly, at first he even thinks about turning her in for money. But he doesn't. Instead, he chooses to keep her secret. And that's important, because trust isn't something they start with, it's something they build. Throughout Season 1, Aaron teaches Aphmau how to survive in the human world. He wants her to become independent, he wants her to be strong, and underneath all of that is trust. By Season 2, their relationship feels completely different. They're not just traveling together anymore, they're partners. They work as a team. When pirates attack their ship, Aphmau distracts them so Aaron can focus on the fighting. When Aaron is brainwashed, Aphmau tries to rekindle their relationship in order to bring him back out of it. When they search for the hermit crab baby, they split up and trust each other to accomplish their goals. Sure, it didn't go as planned, but they always would fight to protect one another. Season 2 feels less like protector and protected and more like equals. Another reason their relationship works is because they show their feelings through action. A lot of romance stories focus heavily on confessions. Aaron and Aphmau are different. Some of their strongest moments happen without romantic dialogue at all. When Aaron runs away so the Marines chase him instead of Aphmau, that is love. When Aphmau notices Aaron pushing himself too hard and tells him to rest after the hurricane, that is love. When they reunite after being separated and immediately rush towards each other in relief, that's love. The relationship isn't built on speeches, it's built on choices. What's really interesting is how both characters change because of each other. Aaron becomes more emotionally open. He starts allowing himself to care. He begins trusting people again. Meanwhile, Aphmau becomes stronger and more independent. She pays attention to how Aaron feels, and she protects him when he's hurt. She becomes someone he can rely on. And I think that's why their relationship feels believable. They're not the same people they were when they first met. Now, let's talk about something bigger, because Aaron and Aphmau aren't just a good couple. They follow many of the same storytelling principles that make great shoujo romances work. One of the most important things in romance is that the characters see something special in each other. Aaron sees Aphmau's kindness, her determination, and her worth, even when she doesn't always see it in herself. And Aphmau sees something very different that everyone else doesn't see when they look at Aaron. She sees the vulnerable person underneath that intimidating reputation. Good romance isn't just attraction, it's growth. Aaron becomes more trusting of Aphmau. Aphmau becomes more confident because Aaron believes in her. And audiences naturally root for relationships when both people become better versions of themselves. Another thing great romances do well is small moments. Not confessions or dramatic speeches, small moments. Private conversations. Checking if the other person is okay, remembering small details, looking for each other in the crowd. These moments become emotional evidence for the audience. Every small interaction says, these two matter to each other. One thing I love about Aaron and Aphmau is that they repeatedly choose each other again and again. Despite dangers, obstacles, secrets, the strongest romances aren't usually built on destiny or fate. They're built on choices. So, why did Mermaid Tales work after the 8-year gap? I think the answer is actually pretty simple. The audience never stopped loving the characters. Before Mermaid Tales, fans already knew Aaron, Aphmau, and Zane, and all of her fabulous characters that Jessica has created in her channel. They had spent years watching them through Minecraft Diaries, My Street, Phoenix Drop High, Falcon Claw University, and every other universe she has created. But something else helped too. The minigames. Oh yeah, we're going into Aphmau's most popular and unique niche that helped build her stories and her unique style. So, one of the things that made Aphmau's content unique is how often the characters appeared outside the main story. Hide and seek, murder mystery, never have I ever, roleplay challenges, the audience got to spend time with the characters outside the scripted storylines. It felt like seeing another side of them. And because the voice actors stayed true to the personality of the characters, fans became even more attached. It created the feeling that these characters were real people. For many fans, Mermaid Tales isn't just a story, it's part of their childhood. I was around 13 when I first started following these stories, and I know I'm not the only one. A lot of people grew up alongside these characters. So when Mermaid Tales returned, it wasn't just another series, it felt like reconnecting with old friends. As someone currently building in her own fantasy world and working towards creating my own story, Mermaid Tales taught me a real important lesson. People fall in love with characters before they fall in love with the worlds. The world can be amazing, the magic can be great, and the lore can be fantastic. But if the audience doesn't care about the people living in the world, none of it matters. The moments that stay with me aren't usually the action scenes, they're the emotional moments. When characters change, when friendships evolve, when relationships grow, when people overcome flaws and become better versions of themselves. That's what audiences remember. Season 2 also taught me something else. Stories grow along with creators, budgets, and skill. When you look at Season 1 and Season 2 side by side, you can see how much experience and time improved everything. The animation, the writing, the cinematics, the production quality, but the most important thing remained the same: the characters. So, after looking at both Mermaid Tales and the relationship between Aaron and Aphmau, I think I finally figured out why people still care about them after all these years. It's not because they're perfect, it's not because they're the strongest characters, and it's not even because they're in a fantasy world filled with pirates, mermaids, magic, and adventure. It's because they feel human. Aaron and Aphmau both have flaws. Aaron can be overprotective, Aphmau can be naive. They make mistakes, they misunderstand each other, they face situations where they don't know what the right answer is. But instead of those flaws pushing them apart, those flaws become opportunities for them to grow. And I think that's something a lot of stories forget. A character's flaws are just as important as their strengths. Without flaws, there's no growth. Without growth, there's no journey. And without a journey, it's hard for an audience to connect emotionally. When I look at Aaron and Aphmau in Season 1 compared to Season 2, I don't just see better animation or better production quality, I see two characters who have changed because of what they've experienced together. Aaron becomes more open emotionally. He learns to trust, he learns to let people in, and Aphmau becomes stronger, wiser, and more aware of her choices affecting the people she loves. Neither of them stayed the same, and that's what makes their relationship feel real. They're growing together, and honestly, I think that's one of the main reasons Mermaid Tales continues to connect with fans. Because at its core, it's not really a story about mermaids or about pirates, it's a story about people. People trying to find where they belong, people learning how to trust, learning how to love, trying to protect the ones they care about. Those are the things everyone can understand, whether you're a sailor, a mermaid, or just someone watching from behind the scenes. As someone who wants to create her own story one day, I think that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned from watching Aphmau's roleplays. You don't need the most complicated plot in the world, or the biggest twists, or to create the greatest story ever written. What matters most is creating characters people care about, because when an audience cares about the characters, they'll follow them anywhere. They followed them across oceans, kingdoms, adventures, and sometimes they'll even follow them across an 8-year gap between seasons. And honestly, I think that's pretty incredible. Watching Mermaid Tales return has also been inspiring as a future creator, because when I compare season 1 and 2, you can see how much Jess has grown as a storyteller. The writing feels more confident. The emotional moments feel stronger, the world feels bigger, the production quality is improved, but the thing that stayed the same was her ability to create characters that people become attached to. And I think that's why Mermaid Tales still works. Not because it's perfect, but because it has heart. You can feel the care put into it. You can feel the love for the characters. And I think audiences can always tell when a creator genuinely cares about the story they're telling. So while I do think Season 2 is stronger overall, I also think Season 1 deserves credit. Without Season 1's simpler beginning, we wouldn't appreciate how far these characters have come. Their growth only matters because we saw where they started. And that's true for stories. It's true for creators, and honestly, it's true for people too. Growth takes time, stories take time, and sometimes the things we love the most are the things that we watch grow over years. So whether you're a longtime fan who watched Mermaid Tales when it first released, or someone discovering the series for the first time, I think there's still something special here, and I'm genuinely excited to see where the rest of Season 2 takes these characters. Because if the story continues building on the theme of trust, growth, sacrifice, and love, then I think Mermaid Tales could become one of the strongest roleplay stories Aphmau has ever created. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Why do you think Aaron and Aphmau's relationship has remained so popular after all these years? And what's been your favorite moment of Mermaid Tales so far? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, it's Anna Wolf Hero out.